Hi, my name is Jenny. This is my YouTube channel. Um, Basically a booktube, I guess, with other things. I don't know. I don't know yet, but I've wanted to make a YouTube channel for a really long time, and I've basically annoyed my friends talking about doing it for the last decade. So I finally just decided to just try it. Just do it. Just do it.
Do it! Just do it!
So this video is going to be a kind of vloggish BookTube Newbie Tag type thing. I found the questions on the internet, so I just printed them out because I'm old school like that. And I'm gonna answer some questions, and there'll be some vloggy bits. This is just like stuff from over the last month. There's some post-holiday stuff, um, going to campus. Carry on. I'm using rather primitive technology. I'm just using my phone. Biggie got a pickin' somewhere. I just got to campus and I allowed myself a fancy coffee because I really only come once a week. So I can afford to have a little splurge on a little treat. So I have one class and it's just like a research elements class, and then I'm free for the day, and I have a lot of work to get through today. I'm writing a proposal for a conference. I'm editing some shit. I have some research to start. I have a research job to start, and just a ton of stuff to get done today. So let's see how much I actually get done. Then I have to go to the grocery store because we're like out of everything. Yeah, no work got done that day. Like, be for real. Okay, I'm gonna do the BookTube Newbie Tag now. So I'm gonna like just power through these questions. Um, yeah, okay.
Okay.
So why did you start this channel? I wanted to do it for a long time. I love BookTube. Some of my favorite YouTubers are Books Are Better Than Food. I love Clifford Lee Sargent. He's hilarious, and I love his book reviews. I love Ruby Granger. She gives me the motivation to actually do my schoolwork. I love V Kadavu. I love all kinds of people on YouTube, and I just love watching vlogs, especially ones about regular people doing regular things. So yeah, I don't know where I fit into that, but yeah, I'm finally doing it because I have wanted to do it for a long time. What are some fun and unique things you could bring to BookTube? Probably nothing. I don't know. My personality, I guess. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out if this is a crash and burn. What are you most excited for about this new channel? Doing it because I said I was going to do it and now I'm finally doing it. So it's one of those things I can check off and say that I did. Why do you love reading? You know what? This is the truth. Like, let me give you the real about doing a PhD in English. Don't do that shit. Um, I've been very disillusioned with reading since starting the PhD. I've been in post grad. I did my master's and now I'm doing my PhD. I'm second year. And reading does not have the same it doesn't give me the same thing that it used to do before I made a choice of making an academic career out of it. So I'm hoping BookTube will rekindle that love. But lately, I have found that I'm getting back into reading and enjoying it very much. What I love about it, it's the cheapest fun you can have. It's the cheapest fun that an introverted weirdo can have. You just find somewhere comfortable to sit and you pick up a book and then you just get swept away into someone else's drama. And then you don't even have to get in trouble. Like it's somebody else's drama. So like you're not, you know? Anyway. Um no, but for real, it's really rewarding to, you know, travel the world through books. Different perspectives that you can learn about, different cultures. So it's very fun. It's very fun. It's very fulfilling and very rewarding. What book series got you into reading? I don't remember. I had to ask my mom what I liked to read when I was a kid. Um, when I was a when I was a kid, I really loved Amelia Bedelia. It's this series about this terrible nanny who's always messing things up, and she's just so funny. Um, but later on, of course, Harry Potter took over the entire world, and I'm at that age that Harry Potter was kind of just. I think I was about the age that they were as the books were kind of coming out. Actually, no, that's not true because the books came out in 1997. I was at that age where Harry Potter was just insane and everybody was reading it and it was very contemporary to me. My fiance is a few years older than me, so he's like, I kind of missed that boat. Um, but I am making him watch all the Harry Potter films with me. We just watched Order of the Phoenix, so he's enjoying them. So I'm grateful that I get to experience that with him for the first time. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I would love to ask Clifford Lee Sargent just anything. I'd love to ask what he thinks about as a reader who hasn't gone through any kind of academic or formal training about literature. I just want to know what his kind of thoughts about that would be. For Ruby Granger, I'd love to ask her how Oxford's going. So I don't know, Ruby, if you ever see this, probably not, but tell me because I love you. The quintessential bookish nerd questions like, what are your favorite books? And what are some of your favorite quotations? You know, so that kind of stuff. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest? Will be the hardest. Okay. Doing it, consistency, drive because I generally have zero drive to do anything these days. Um, yeah, and just balancing it with all the other shit I have going on because I'm a psycho who can't stop starting projects and then realizing that I don't have time. When did you start reading? Okay, this is the only flex that I have, really, is that I started reading really early. I skipped senior kindergarten because I was already reading. I guess I would have been about 4 or 5. So throughout my entire schooling until high school, I was always 1 year younger than everybody. Um, it's really not a flex because okay, fine. I'm gonna use it as a flex, but it's the only one I have. So just like let me have this.
Okay.
Where do you read? I like to read in complete silence, um, in my house. Sometimes I can read in public, but it's not my favorite thing to do. I like to be cozy and comfy on the couch or in bed. And sometimes I'll read on the train if I'm going on a really long train or bus ride. That could be nice if it's quiet. It's usually not quiet. What kind of books do you like to read? Uh, that's tough. All kinds of books. I'm diversifying my genres and authors, and over the last few years, that's been something that I've been passionate about with reading, and branching out into nonfiction. So I like to read all kinds of things. I'm realizing as I get older, I want to know more about different things and put myself in a position where I learn about something that I would have not learned about before. But my favorite genres tend to be surrealism, anything absurd. Um, I'll talk about one of my favorite authors later, but it's Leonora Carrington, and she was a surrealist painter, and she writes these just bonkers books. So anything that leaves me floored or unsettled is basically what I really love to read. Not that crazy about romance these days, or even books that just have a romantic, relationships. I don't know. What does your book collection look like? So it's behind me. When my fiance moved in, I was really excited to combine all our books together. So that's what you're seeing. He's also a PhD. We go to the same school, and he is doing labor studies. So these are all his nerdy, like Marxist socialist books. And then these are all mine. These are all mine. And there's another little shelf over there. But that's what you're seeing behind me. So they're not all my books. Anything that looks like a smart person book is probably one of his. How many books is too many books in a series? Okay, I like a clean trilogy. 4 books at max. Unless you're George R. R. Martin. You can do whatever the hell you want if you're George R. R. Martin. But otherwise, like, a clean trilogy is understated. You don't need to have 8 books in a series. It's not necessary. How do you feel about cliffhangers? I don't feel about them. Like, I don't know. Finish up. Let's go. Hardcover or paperback? My favorite way to read is an ebook audiobook combo. So I'll read on my iPad and I'll have the audiobook running at the same time. I usually just get the audiobooks from Libby. I have access to like 3 or 4 different library systems on Libby, so I can just grab the audiobook, grab an ebook, and listen and read because I start to get distracted and my brain just starts wandering. I would love to be able to just sit and read a paperback, but I don't know what's happening to my attention span these days. So that's my favorite way to read. It's the most effective way to read for me too when I have to get something done for school. Just keeps me focused. But yeah, hardcovers for aesthetics, they're pretty, they're nice, and paper books for travel, paperback books for travel. Otherwise, it's just my little tablet. All right, my favorite book. So I'm gonna give you 5, but for the last near decade or so, I've been saying that my favorite book is. Oh fuck! I put a stack. I'm gonna give you a few. Well, okay, never mind. I'm gonna give you 6. I thought I had. What? I can't count. Honestly, I can't count. But for the last decade, I've been saying that my favorite book is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I've basically absorbed this book through osmosis, and it's become my whole personality. I'm kidding. But I absolutely love this book, and I will not tolerate any secret history hate on my channel. That's a hill I will die on. I'm kidding. I know a lot of people think it's pretentious and ridiculous, so that's fair. But I'll give you a few other favorite books. I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a video about my favorite books, about 20 of them later on. But I'll just show you quickly some of my favorites. This is Theory by Dionne Brand. She is a Canadian Trinidadian author based in Toronto. This book is about a queer PhD student, and it feels more relevant to me now. But she just hyper intellectualizes her everyday life in a way that I can truly relate to. The next one, I love this book. Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. If you have not read this book, you have to read it. It's about a Black woman in the South, but really what it's about is about her freedom and fulfilling her fantasy and her desires. And it has a very interesting end, I will say. I'll talk about these in depth more later. This series is one of my favorites. Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. It is a YA urban fantasy series. It's so good. It's so fun. It's really hard to explain, but there are chimera and angels, and it's apocalyptic, and it's beautifully written. And I love the main character, Keru. She's just so spunky and weird, and she has blue hair that actually grows out of her head blue. Next, Paradise Lost. I read this in my undergrad. I fell in love. I love Paradise Lost. It's an interesting shift from reading biblical perspective. The thing that's so interesting about stories about Satan and the angels is that a lot of kind of quintessential Christian views of these things came much later and are not necessarily biblically based. The idea that Satan was the kind of ruler of the underworld is not necessarily found in the Bible, but that is something that is created in John Milton's Paradise Lost. It's beautiful, it's poetic, and what I love the most about it is trying to figure out who I'm voting for, who do I cheer for, because they're all quite justified, I guess, in a way. Next is a Canadian novel, Bear by Marian Engel. It's about a woman who is sent to this island to archive and catalog a deceased rich guy's collection of shit. And she's told when she gets to the island that, oh, by the way, there's a bear. He had a bear. He just had a bear. Because, you know, we should all just have bears in our backyards. But she forms a very interesting relationship with said bear, and it's freaky and gross, but I'm obsessed. It's weird that I love this book, but I absolutely love this book. It's The Story of the Eye by George Bataille. It's gross. It's gross. It's transgressive. It's explicit, and it is not sexy. Anyone who thinks that it's highly sexual, but anyone who thinks that this book is sexy is out of their minds. Like, it's not. It's not smut. It's disgusting, feral awkwardness is what I'll say. And those are some of my favorite books. Least favorite book. So when I printed these out last week, I wasn't sure because I didn't think I have a least favorite book until I recently, I recently read Verity by Colleen Hoover. Instant karma. I'm sorry, I know the Bookiverse and Book Talk loves Coho, and I know that this is definitely a fan favorite, but I just can't. It's so bad. It's so bad. And I feel bad for saying that. But I read it because I didn't want to assume and jump on the bandwagon of, you know, hating a popular book just because it's popular. I wanted to know for myself if it was trash. I wouldn't call it trash, but it's not very good. Sorry. And also, my least favorite books usually have used the epistolary form, so either like letters back and forth or diary entries. I just don't really like it. Hold that though. Love triangles, hard pass. Don't care. The only love triangle that ever mattered to me was the Twilight, Bella, Jacob, Edward. And they're all awful. So I don't know who I'd vote for. Most recent DNF. I don't know. I mean, it was almost Verity, but I had to see it through to the end, so I'm just gonna go with that. Currently reading, I'm currently reading Bad Cree by Jessica Johns, or Johnson, or Jones, Jessica Jones, I think. And it's a wonderful book. It's written by an Indigenous author. It follows a woman who wakes up from a dream and realizes that she has a crow's hand that she brought out with her in the dream. She had decapitated a crow and brought out with her in the dream, but then it disappears when she wakes up. So the idea is that she's bringing things in and out of dreams. Oh, my fiance's back. Hey.
So beautiful.
Thank you. I'm still filming. I'm almost done. No, do what you're
Oh,
doing.
did you get the box?
It's behind you. Anyway, yeah, she wakes up with a crow's head in her hands, and from there it just kind of takes on this weird quality where she's bringing things back from her dream world into the real world, and she's getting text messages from her dead sister. So I'm really enjoying it. It's beautifully written. Last book you recommended, I randomly recommended to someone on the bus a book called The Body Keeps the Score. Can't remember who the author is, but my therapist recommended it to me, and it's about the ways in which our body stores trauma and etc. etc. It's really interesting. Oldest book you've read. I don't know what that means, but I guess the Bible. Would the Bible is older than Beowulf, right?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm gonna find out which one, but one of those two, Beowulf or the Bible. I'm still working on the Bible though, but I've read 70% of it, so I'm gonna say that I've read it. Newest book. The newest book. Where did it go? And I pulled it out to talk about it because it was really fun. I didn't know if this question meant newest book that I purchased or newest book that I have that was most recently published. But I'm just going to talk about the book that I read recently for a book club. It's called This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amar El-Motar and Max Gladstone. I have the book. I just don't know what the hell I did with it. I found it. It's this one. And I described it as a sapphic Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Romeo and Juliet time traveling assassin novel. The funny thing is, it is written in that form that I just mentioned that I can't stand, the epistolary letter writing form, but it works so well in this book. It's sci-fi. It's basically these two assassins on opposing teams are traveling through time to tweak certain historical events so that the desired outcomes of their agencies come about. But then they keep trying to thwart each other's work, I guess, and over a series of letters, they develop a romance. It's weird and fun. And I want to read it again, actually. I would highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Favorite author. I don't think I have one, although I will say I've read almost all of Leonora Carrington's books, so maybe her. But I also really love Angela Carter. So I'll go with one of them. Okay, and last question, buying or borrowing? Borrowing. Buying?
That's suspicious.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's weird.
Borrowing. Buying, but actually reading them. Don't look over here.
white tuna, really good.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Hell yeah! That's my dogs? Hell yeah!
Anyway, thanks for watching if you watched to the end. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I have some fun things planned. I have vision for this channel. I'd like to eventually do some video essays and incorporate my research, my dissertation research into that as well. So we'll see what this channel does and grows to. But expect another vlog probably next week. I'm gonna go to Toronto and have a nice day to myself, book shopping, reading, working in the beautiful University of Toronto campus downtown, and I'm going to take you along. Yeah, otherwise, that's about it. I don't know how to end this. How do you end videos? Like, thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.